Any new lessons you learned for any new dads?
Any new lessons, any new dad. So as I said in the previous question, you can't base your experiences on anybody else, because your wife is going to be different, the mother of your child is going to be different, your child's going to be different, different than you, different than other children, which means the only thing that you can prepare for is your agility and your ability to rise to the occasion. That you can prep for, which is, little things that you do in your everyday life. Kill procrastination, get to things right away. But when it comes to lessons that I learned coming into fatherhood from day one, that old school lesson that whatever your wife says, just do it. When you gotta get up at 11 o'clock and go to Cold Stone, or get up at 2 in the morning to try and find a cheesecake, do it, man. That's it. Like, ain't no discussion, argument. Man, that's all you there for at that moment in time, to follow instructions. Learn how to be a soldier. That's the best advice. But those things are gonna happen when she's pregnant, going through her emotions. She's gonna need those things, so you just make it happen. When she's coming through those labor pains, make sure you're prepared ahead of time. Make sure that your bag and all the stuff that you need is prepared. When it comes to the vaccinations, know where you stand on it. Have your paperwork and all of that stuff prepared ahead of time, so that when you get to the hospital, it's very clear. One thing I was big on was, as soon as I got to the hospital, I wanted to make sure everybody was clear on where I sat on certain things. He's good. Make sure that, the doctors, the midwife, the doula, whoever you're dealing with, everybody on your team. Make sure your whole support staff knows where you're going to be sitting on certain quality issues. That way, when you get in there, it's not a battle, and you can hold everybody accountable for what you've already confirmed and let everybody know is going to be the deal relative to this birth. Whether it's the birth plan, whether it's vaccinations, whether she wants to sit in the pool, she wants to go in the shower, whatever it is that she wants to do, the baby mother wants to do, your wife wants to do, or the reality of the baby's going to be, make sure it's known ahead of time. When it comes to choosing the baby's name, make sure it's meaningful. Make sure it makes sense. Make sure it's reflective of what you expect from that child. Because, we're not looking to dictate the life of our children, but we have to give them direction. And the name that you choose for him or her is going to be a direction that they have to maintain going forward. One of the best lessons, one of the best things that my parents gave me was the name in which they gave me, Tariq, or Tariq, as it's pronounced in Arabic, which is the 86th surah of the Holy Quran, meaning the comer by night, the star that guides you when you're in eternal darkness. But my parents giving me a surah as a name, anytime as I was growing, I would go back to the surah and read it. I read it when I was 12, I read it when I was 16, when I was 18, 21, and I read it from time to time as often as I can now, especially now, as I'm trying to understand who I am and what my job is going forward. And Tariq, meaning the comer by night, the star that guides you when you're in eternal darkness. That's always helped me understand who I had to be to the world, who I had to be to those around me, who I had to be to my friends and my family. I couldn't be everybody. I couldn't do what everybody did. I had to be, that reference, that beacon of light, a different person, that people would see and be able to use as a guide. I wasn't perfect at it, and I'm not perfect at it, but many of my friends who grew up with me in school, they always knew, Tariq may have done some things, but he was different, and I knew I had to be that, because of the name that my parents gave me, being able to go back to that surah and read it. So knowing that, I named my son, or my wife and I named my son in the same vein. So I think choosing a name is an excellent lesson and definitely a focal point that the parents have to pay a lot of attention to. Make sure it's meaningful, make sure it's something that they are forced to live up to. He's good. He's up, but he's good. The next lesson is, let me see. Damn, I had it. The next lesson is relative to, of course, the breastfeeding. Knowing how much of a struggle that is for the wife, and making sure she has as much support as you can to do it going forward. We know we don't like to do the formulas and stuff like that as Muslims. So knowing